Here are the first two racks. You can see how I built them. This was my first project, solar, for this city house, and it pretty much did its job for me. And I'm just growing and changing as a person, so I want more power. I made sure when I put in my contract with my power company, I contracted for a 4 kilowatt generator. That's something important for you to do when you make a contract with your utility company. Make sure you overshoot. So even if you're only building a 2 kilowatt system, put in for a 4 kilowatt system. That way you can expand should you need to. Children, relative moves in, something like that. But I want an electric car, or a plug-in hybrid. So I wanted to be as carbon neutral as I can. I'll get into the reasons why. I believe carbon taxes are coming, especially if we get a Democrat in the White House next. This is the new rack, the 3-panel rack. I switched to 3-panel racks because today's panels put out 300 to 350 watts. The first ones I showed you are only 240 watt panels. During their time, that was the standard. Now 300 to 350 watts is the standard in the same amount of space. Isn't that nice? So for those of you that are considering solar, you're going to get more bang for your buck because all of the stuff is the same price today. While I was able to save, I paid about a third of normal cost on my inverters because I waited. Again, I'm a smart shopper. That's why I only installed the first 2 racks, because I had a feeling the same inverters were going to be go on sale at one time, and I did. I bought another case of inverters, so I actually have had enough to put in the next 6 panels, which this is 3 of them, and have 2 leftover inverters should there be a failure and all corporations be gone. I can still be running. Okay, now there's the rack. It's all pressure treated. Do this at your own risk. This is my design, and I don't know longevity or anything. Basically, I just designed it. It's what I felt that I wanted. There will be deck boards across the front, which will make it look aesthetically pleasing, and wood and stained and all of that, and it will look very nice like a lawn ornament, and that's what I wanted for my land. You can do whatever you want. Okay, I just wanted to show 2 real quick before we move around to the rack. These are UFO panel mounts, rail mounts. I recommend those now because they bite both the rail and the panels. That means we're bonded, and it just makes installation really simple in today's solar world. Installation of solar is so simple today. This is the side strut, and remember, we're working with aluminum, so once you mount panels, even if you torque it right, come out the next day and torque one more time because we're working with aluminum. Then I recommend a week later coming back and torquing one more time. So now you can see the side of the rail. Pressure treated does rot. That's why I put them up on these mounds. There are little braces underneath each foot that run the length of it that allows for drainage. Okay, and then you can see the carriage bolts that go through. Right, we have 2 carriage bolts on that go all the way through the 2 feet and the 4x4. So it would take a lot of stress to break that 4x4, wouldn't it, for those of you that build? It really would. I mean, that's a ridiculous amount of stress. And the carriage bolts are far enough apart that it gives me really good support there. And it would take a lot to get that 4x4 to move. And then you can see the cross braces there. That's overkill, but I did it anyway because I wanted this rack very, very heavy, because we're talking about something that's potentially a sail and wind could affect it. Now you can see up here at the top is my struts. This is how I adjust it. Very simple. I move this. Drill holes, winter, spring, summer, fall, right? Depending on where you need them. And now your strut is set. And then I just move it and pull the panel down, screw it back in. It's that fast. I come in, pop 2 screws, pull this off. Right now it would be 4 because I have a front strut. That's just junk anyway. And then I move it. And that's how quick I adjust my panels. Within 5 minutes, my whole rack is adjusted. And I'm faster. The better you get, the faster you are. It's really simple. And I just unscrew both sides. I screw one side first, then I go to the other side, unscrew it, pull the panel down, screw it back in, it's set, then come over here and screw this one down in its spot, and there my panels are adjusted. Okay, so let's get on to the rest. It's pretty simple. Let me get in there and show you the feet on the rails. These rails are rated for 100 miles an hour. I don't know what to rate the rack because I designed all this myself, and it needs to be tied down too, and I will show you that in a minute. But you can see in there, really simple, very clean, isn't it? We don't have a bunch of mess or anything like that. Real nice, clean, and we got plenty of ventilation area. So now let's get into this part here. Okay, and you can see how it's kind of a floor system, right? Very simple to build. Use 3/4 pressure treated plywood. Now down there you can see my ground rod, and then next to it you can see the tie down. There will be a chain going through that. I've taken it off now because I'm doing some work. I've got to rewire some stuff here soon and get my wires put in properly. This was just temporary installation. And then I wanted to finish it later when I install the next rack as well. But you can see that will be chained down with an adjuster, so if there should be a frost heave, the chain will be able to be adjusted so we don't have any stress. But that's just in case there's a hurricane of 80, 100 miles an hour or something, and should this move. In the winter I don't worry about it because the feet are frozen to the ground, right? But in the summer they are not frozen, therefore this is technically movable. Another reason why I did this rack this way, should I want to move, I don't want to leave my solar system. And I don't want to, that's why I don't like roof mounts either, because then you got to repair holes in roofs should you want to take your solar system with you. But, if I were to sell this place and wanted to take the solar system with me, I could, couldn't I? It's very simple disassembly and reassembly, and I can move my whole system wherever I want. It's another reason why I went when I did. The reason why I left this 4x4 out here is for everyone to see. This was a light pole, solar light pole that I had. See how pressure treated does rot when it's fully buried and exposed to moisture constantly. So even if you're putting pressure treated in the ground, please treat the pressure treated and whatnot. But more importantly, any pressure treated that's actually in ground, exposed to moisture constantly, will rot. That's something for people to know. Okay, let's get over here and look at this side real quick. You can see how the carriage bolt again goes through the rack. All right, and it's really that simple. This is what everything pivots on. You can turn it the other way, but I'm using this for a hanger for something, so I wanted this sticking out on this side for now, okay? And, once it's in there, I don't even really worry about these being tight or anything because it's so solid. But, and I've still got some things that I'm doing here, so I need that. I'm working today with that bolt. So anyway, but you can see the strut again, same thing on this side, easily adjusted, isn't it? Set for winter right now, but soon it'll be laying back further for summer. And then if we can get around here, the one thing I wanted to show were the inverters, and that's going to be difficult for you, and I apologize, but hopefully these are the micro inverters right here. Okay, so that's your in phase. That is my micro inverter. It's really that simple, and that's how I plug it in. And this is why I like the racks too. If there's a problem, see how fast I can change anything out. These M phases don't fail really, like a 99.9%,